Mike. I'm a member of the Finance Club, and this is the first Finance Club presentation that we've had this semester. The presentation is on real estate, and it is titled UnReal Estate, primarily about real estate in Vancouver. But why do people buy? Well, this is kind of an obvious question, which is why I want to go through it quickly. Just read through these very quickly, and I just wanted to set the tone. That'll go throughout the rest of the presentation. But one of the most interesting ones out of all of these here, I believe, is this status one. You know, it's a goal that people have. Eventually in their life, they want to own, and it's like one of those, you know, a dream. But this is not a how-to-buy real estate presentation. But there's one thing in particular that I want you guys to know, in case you don't, which I'm sure you all do because you all look very smart. It's about pre-approved mortgages. The process in getting a pre-approved mortgage. It's not the most difficult thing to do. You go to a bank, you go to a mortgage broker, and you give them all your personal information, how long you've been working, how much money you have, how much you make, how much you owe, blah, blah, blah. And then they take that information and they go, okay, we are going to give you this much money to go towards a mortgage. Usually, they give you the maximum amount, and then they say, you handle it. You know, this is the most you can get under the current rules. You take care of the rest. What this means is that this person who's looking for a house will be able to go and look for a place, knowing that they are allowed to spend this amount of money to buy whatever home they want. Goes for 90 days. So there's a bit of sense of urgency there, because within those 90 days if things change, then well, they lose their interest rate or whatever, making it more difficult for them to get something in the future. But the main thing I want to mention is that they do give you the most, basically. Well, let's go through a very little bit of history on real estate in Vancouver. Here's a graph. A lot of years, a lot of ups and downs. See, 80-81, you see it went up quite a bit, and then it went down. Well, that was basically, they're fighting a very high inflation rate during this period. So interest rates shot up to neutralize the inflation. Consequence of high interest rates is the dip right here, okay? So when interest rates go up, it becomes much more difficult for you to pay for your mortgage. Things recover gradually, they shoot up, they climb up a little bit more, interest rates go up. They drop down a bit. Interest rates, the reason why it went down here, surprise, surprise, interest rates went up. And you see, the thing about it is, this is over like 30 years, so you see the trend is up. Long-term real estate is a very safe investment, just like a lot of investments, you know, stocks and all this kind of stuff. But short-term, just like in stocks, there's some volatility there, and can leave people hanging in the wind. All right, that's a little bit of history. It's very little. Okay, now I'd like to talk to you guys a little bit about the players in the real estate game. Okay, CMHC, I'm sure you guys know what CMHC is. It's the Canada Mortgage Housing Corporation, and basically, they were created by the government to allow affordable housing for people. You know, it was long, like, I think sometime after World War II, they came about to insure mortgages for riskier borrowers. And they've been here ever since. The government, of course everybody knows the government, and everybody knows these two guys, I hope. Prime Minister Stephen Harper and Finance Minister Flaherty. The government's really a big player in this game because, you know, let's say if they want to raise taxes 10%, well then you're going to have a lot less money to pay for a home. Or if they're going to lower taxes. Or if they're going to allow the CMHC to insure longer mortgages or shorter mortgages. Or, you know, they have tremendous influence on the real estate market. The Bank of Canada, that's Mark Carney. He's a pretty big player too. You know, he controls key interest rates. He's like the Federal Reserve. That's like the Federal Reserve, but for Canada. And it allowed basically for borrowing money for banks, which are then able to lend money to you and everybody else. Also, these guys give out lots of information, you know, They're like, they can be a specialist for news articles that you read, or anything like that. Banks and mortgage brokers, very important, obviously. If they're not gonna give you the money, you're not gonna get the home. Realtors and media, this is news, TV, newspapers, all that kind of stuff. They're pretty big. Here's a realtor, smiling of course. Yeah, they're important because they tell the average person what's happened. They're usually the specialists when you go to talk to when someone releases makes an article. Who do they talk to? Average Joe or the Realtor Association of BC, and then of course the buyers and sellers. They're not insignificant, but government, buyers and sellers. Okay. But why the rise? Everybody here should know that real estate has gone up quite a lot in Vancouver, in all Canada, but in Vancouver in particular. Why has it gone so much? Is it because Mr. Moneyman here, everybody became super rich, they could all buy twice the amount of home, they all, could buy multiple homes, vacation homes? Well, maybe that's why. Or is it because of this comic little thing, which is about population. There's so many people moved here that demand just shot up, Everybody became rich so they could buy more expensive homes? Or did so many people move here who had money that could buy more expensive homes? Well, rise income rise. Or not, actually. Here's median male incomes over the last 2000 to 2007, and female incomes combined, and the average house price over that same period. So they hadn't really changed very much, but house prices did. So maybe it's not the income. What about this population growth? Everybody wants to live here, right? Okay, here's a whole bunch of little cities all across North America. Calgary, Edmonton, Toronto, Vancouver, states. Vancouver's the lowest. Now this is over 5 years. This is not each year. This is total. And Vancouver grew the least. So, can we really say it's population? Well, maybe not. And there could be other reasons as well. Okay, I didn't do a very good job of explaining how realtors and buyers and sellers and all that stuff. So here, I'm gonna let How I Met Your Mother, TV show which is really funny, really good. Everybody should watch it. Here's a couple clips that give the thinking in the average buyer, I'd say. Maybe not quite the average buyer, but it's pretty good.
Oh, well, nobody calls it D-Town. Dilley Citripla is the up-and-coming neighborhood, and I have to tell you, for these prices, you're not going to be able to find another thing that...
I'm gonna stop you right there. Don't bother with the hard sell. This place is way out of our price range, and besides, we've only just started looking.
Is what Marshall should have said.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
I love it. Let's get it.
All right. So people would like to think that they're super hardball and all that kind of stuff, but when it comes to buying, it's become pretty emotional. I mean, the idea would be you go to the bank, go to the mortgage broker, get however much you can take out, and then you're going to look for a great deal. People spend hours and hours looking for a great deal for a car. They look at all the lemon books and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to buying a home, it's pretty an emotional thing. You find a home that speaks to you. These rooms, wow, the layout, everything is so great. Okay, here's another clip.
Listen, I don't want to put a lot of pressure on you, but there is one other couple that's expressed very serious interest.
I see what you're doing here. Another couple, please. That crap is page 1 out of the Realtor's playbook, and I'm not buying it.
Is what Marshall should have said.
Another couple? No, we want it. Sell it to us. We'll give you so much more money.
Oh, Marshall.
Alright. So, yeah. One of the things about it that I just want to mention very briefly is that,